Good morning, everyone. If I can have your attention. Thank you all for joining us this morning. On behalf of Mayor Jones and the City of Richmond, welcome to our annual 9/11 Remembrance and Service Day. I'm Paul Manning, the Chief Service Officer for the City of Richmond, and we count it a pleasure and privilege for you to be here on this day of memory. It was 12 years ago that we all saw the scenes of the tragedy on that day, where innocent lives were lost, but heroes emerged. And we celebrate the heroes, we celebrate the first responders, we celebrate the spirit of America.
Please stand and join me in reciting the pledge that unites us all in freedom as Americans. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You can be seated, guests. If you all have your agendas, the next component of the agenda is to take a moment and reflect on where you were, what you were doing 12 years ago on this fateful, tragic day. So if you would, a moment of reflection. Thank you. Next, we'll have the opening prayer by Reginald Cleveland, senior pastor of Shady Grove Baptist Church in Gum Springs, Virginia, and retired lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Navy as a chaplain.
May we pray. Almighty God, we pause a moment to reflect on the tragic events that we often refer to as 9/11, a social and political storm that forever changed the face of our nation. But as we seek to rise above the painful memories of that day in history, create us more in your image. For when you made us in your own image as citizens of the world, no one knows the greatness that you had in mind. And as we seek to go forward as the greatest nation in the world, fill our minds with beautiful thoughts, thoughts that are pure and thoughts that are true. Fill our souls with a loving and kind and creative disposition. Fill our hearts with love and forgiveness. Fill our ears with the ringing of music that will keep us in tune with the singing of angels. Fill our imagination with the coming of your kingdom. And then if some storm should come and threaten to tear our world apart, grant that we should still have a sanctuary in our hearts. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
As you can see behind me, we have quite an impressive group of individuals. First and foremost, Honorable Mayor Dwight C. Jones. But we also have first responders representing both the city, the state, as well as the nation. And so I will read off the names, and when I read off the names, if you would please stand. Of course, first and foremost, Mayor Dwight C. Jones, who heads the great city of Richmond, Virginia. Thank you. Chief Ray Tarasovic, Police Chief. C.T. Woody, Sheriff. We have Wayne Harbor, the Chief Clinical Officer of the Richmond Ambulance Authority. Also local first responder leader, Robert Creasy, Chief of Fire Department. On deck we have James Jackson, our Public Works Director. Not with us today, but very important when emergencies strike, our Parks, Recreation, and Community Facilities. That would be Dr. Norman Merrifield. We do have Deborah Morton, the Deputy Director, and please give her a hand. And so that's at the city level, but also we have at the state level someone on stage with us, Mr. Reggie Gordon, the CEO of the American Red Cross of Eastern Virginia Region. Please give him a hand. And at the national level, we have here Brigadier General John O'Neill, the 52nd U.S. Army Quartermaster General and Commandant of the Quartermaster School at Fort Lee. Please give him a hand. Now, civilians, if you look around, we take for granted, I know I take for granted every day I'm walking either from home, from work, I see people in uniform and I take it for granted. If you're not in uniform and you see those, I want you to give those in uniform a big round of applause. We thank you. Yes, thank you. Also, we do have City Council Person Parker Agelasto. Thank you for being here. And again, we do recognize our local leaders in terms of first responders, but also give a hand to those soldiers over there that protect this nation. Last night, I'm sure many of you all watched and heard President Obama discuss this issue of Syria and how we take for granted that we are the strongest, the most powerful nation on this planet, and we have a large debt to pay. So thank you, General. You all can be seated. Thank you. Now, obviously, whenever you create agendas and programs, sometimes things move slow. Sometimes things are very efficient and they move very quickly. As you all remember, on 9/11, 12 years ago, there were 2 towers that were struck. And we just, with the tolling of the bells, we celebrated the memory of the first tower, the North Tower that fell. And if you recall, it was at 9:03 a.m. On that day, the second tower fell. We are ahead of schedule, and because I'm not going to sing a song, and neither is anyone on the stage going to sing a song, we want to honor the fact that there is specific timing, but we do want to go on with the program. So, Mark, thank you. And next we will have America the Beautiful, sung by Senior Connections Choral Group, led by Tony Williams, the director. Please join me as I welcome Mayor Dwight C. Jones to the podium to give the keynote address. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul, and let's give this wonderful choir, this is the Senior Connections Choir, a wonderful round of applause again. They've done a wonderful job. And every time I hear you, you get better. And I'm going to engage you to travel with me. All right, so when I speak, you sing. We're delighted that they are here today, and they have done a wonderful job. And what a wonderful choice of a selection they have lifted for us today, America the Beautiful. It's a wonderful song, and it celebrates the greatness of our country and the wonderful landscape of the people who make America what it is. And one of the great things about our country is that whatever our flaws, whatever things we find distasteful, all of us will have to agree that it is the greatest country in the world. And you can applaud that if you want. And that song is particularly poignant because as I look out over the crowd today, I see such a wonderful collaboration of individuals from different places, ethnicities, and from different backgrounds. We are diverse and we are beautiful. We're beautiful with diversity, representing countries from all over the world, but the thing that's important is that we're united here today. We are beautiful because of our hope. We have hope that we can make every day better than the next day. We have hope that we are not defeated by evil, but that we triumph in the goodwill that we represent today. We are beautiful because of our brotherhood. We have banded together to give back to our community, and we have people who will be doing that in the city of Richmond today, giving back to the community, but not just on the day of remembrance. It is our prayer and hope that we will give back to our communities every day. It's that brotherhood that got us through the tragic and heartbreaking day that we all come to commemorate today in 2001. And it is brotherhood that will sustain us as we go forward today. When Paul asked us to remember what we were doing on 9/11, I reflected and had not thought about it for a long time. But on the days that were immediately after 9/11, I had occasion to be in Pentagon City, and it happened that the hotel that I was staying in had a view of the Pentagon. And in the morning when I opened the drapes to the room, I looked over and saw the devastation of the Pentagon that had been hit. And I thought to myself, I have been in America all of my life, and the only thing that I have seen that represents war have been pictures and newsreels about war on distant shores and in distant lands. But on this day, I was able to look out of my own window and see the devastation that is caused when men cannot get along together and when our enemies have the opportunity to strike us on our own soil. And so we're here today to remember those valiant and heroic men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice on that day. And we're here to take just a moment out of our busy schedules to honor their memory. Today, we make them proud by continuing their legacy of selflessness and to continue their legacy of strength, and to allow their families and even them, as they look at us from the balconies of glory, to know that we have not forgotten the sacrifices that they made, that we appreciate it, we honor them, and we will never forget what happened on that day. And many of you here today have jobs that put you in harm's way. And it never fails that when we ask individuals who have these important jobs that cause them to put their lives in danger day after day, and when we try to assign them the title of hero, it never fails that they will respond by saying, I was just doing my job. They deflect and they demur because they don't want any credit for doing what they have signed on to do. But for a lot of you here today, even if you don't want to hear it, we want to tell you that you're doing a great job. And we want you to know that you make our lives eminently better, and you make this community a more livable community, a safe community. And we want to just pause today and thank you for all that you do to make this the wonderful community that it is. So join me, if you will, in thanking all of those who put their lives on the line in order to keep us safe. And no matter what you do, whether it is the compassionate employee here at Marshall Plaza that helps families on a day-to-day basis, or our first responders all around us helping during emergencies, or even our city refuge collectors who make our neighborhoods clean. Together, we're all working to help our neighborhoods and help our city to make this a better place in which to live. 12 years ago, terrorists tried to divide us. But I'm here to report today that instead of dividing us, they made us stronger. We're here today to say that instead of dividing us, we became closer and more united than ever. And if I could allow another side of me to come out, what they meant for evil, God meant for good. And it is important for us to recognize that those who sought to destroy us only allowed us to come forward more victorious. And if you have the opportunity to go to New York and see the replacement of the World Trade Centers, the Freedom Towers that are going up, and the wonderful, wonderful water features there, you'll find out that when we get kicked down, we just stand up stronger, that we are too strong to stay down. We always get up. We always bounce back because we are Americans. And so today, as I look at the American flag, it is a symbol that unites us. There are so many who want to divide us. There are so many who want to bring up issues that will tear us apart. But this flag unites us, and the only flag that has any resonance in this place today is that which brings us together. And so today, I want you to recognize that we cannot be insular. We have got to be our brother's keeper. We have got to be those who know each other, who care about each other, who work together and are concerned about each other. And so I want you to just look around this plaza this morning and see people that you don't know, people that you have never met. And I'm going to pause and I'm going to ask you to just do something a little interactive. I want you to find somebody you have never met, find somebody you've never spoken to, and I want you to go greet them and shake their hand, tell them your name and let them tell you their name. Meet somebody that's different from you. Meet somebody you don't know. Do that now, all over this plaza.
Good to see you. Yes, yes.
Now, thank you very much. And you can continue this by inviting somebody to lunch if you want to. But it's important for us to know the people that live next door to us, to know the people who work in the cubicle in our department, and to know the people who work in other departments. It's important for us to be a community. It's important for us to recognize that we have responsibility one for another. And today highlights that responsibility as we come together on this day of remembrance. And while our little exercise at being friendly was something that we probably all enjoyed for a minute, I would like to challenge and charge you not to just allow that to be a thing we do once a year. But I would like to challenge and charge all of us to recognize that this is our responsibility on a daily basis. And today we have persons who are going to be volunteering throughout the city. I think I heard the number of 135 or 140 people who will be volunteering during this day throughout the city. And we want to encourage you to reach out of yourself and do something for someone other than your family. Do something for someone other than those that are particularly close to you. We want to invite you today to take a CPR class so that when some emergency strikes in a place where you are, you can be pressed into action. We want to encourage you to participate by donating food to help those who are hungry. Because in this great land, it's a difficult statistic for us to recognize, but there are those who go to bed hungry at night. And so today, I want you to think about what you can do to help keep that momentum going all year long. Think about reading to a child, helping a neighbor, thinking about giving blood, donating food. Thank a police officer or a firefighter. The options are limitless. The only thing we have to do is begin thinking about those things that are outside of ourselves and recognizing, in the words of the old song, no man is an island, no man stands alone. I need you and you need me. All of us need each other in order for us to be successful. And so today I'd like to close by personally thanking our superb police and fire departments. And will you help me in thanking the police and fire departments for the wonderful job that they do with a round of applause. And I want to thank our wonderful ambulance authority that works hand in hand with the fire department. Let's give them a round of applause as well. And it's not on my script, Sheriff, but we want to thank the sheriff and the sheriff's department for the wonderful job that they do as well. We want to thank the personnel right here at MCV they do such a wonderful job taking care of those in many instances that nobody else wants to take care of. And I particularly want to thank our active duty and reserve military personnel and all of our veterans that are represented here today. Thank you for all you do, and we want you to know that we remember you on this day of remembrance, but we don't just remember you on today, but we remember you at all times when we reflect on the greatness of our nation and the fact that we live in this wonderful land where we have freedoms that are not experienced by anybody else in the world. Thank you so much, and God bless America.
Thank you, Mayor Jones. Give a hand to Mayor Jones. Once again, phenomenal words of leadership and encouragement. And as Mayor Jones was speaking, I just noticed we have a crowd of about 50 young people, so we want you all to come forward. Give the young people a hand. That obviously we work to secure this nation for the next generation, so we thank this young group of kids for being here. And as Mayor Jones just recognized our first responders, we do want to also recognize those civilians, or at least you're in civilian uniform, and you may have served in some capacity years ago before perhaps retirement. So if you are here, we do thank you for your service. You're appreciated. So now what we will move towards is the retirement of the colors. If you all will stand, please, for the retirement of the colors. Thank you. You may be seated. As Mayor Jones previously stated, today is not only a day of remembrance, but it's also a day of service. And we do have approximately 140 volunteers serving throughout this city in various capacities. And as you would see on your agenda, this is the portion of our time together where we go into our service launch. And beyond service in terms of meeting needs in the homes of vulnerable seniors at Belle Isle and James River. We're going to have volunteers at Cannon Creek doing cleanup. Volunteers will be in Fulton, in the Fulton community, with community gardening and cleanup. We have a partnership with the Richmond Sheriff's Office, with Lieutenant Colonel Dabney, set it up sheriff, where we're going to be serving some seniors, cutting grass, yard work, all across the city. But we also have another partner, AARP, and to share a bit about this initiative in the National Food Drive, please help me welcome Stephanie Gossett from AARP to the stage.
Good morning. It is such a pleasure and an honor to be here this morning. I am so excited about the National Day of Service. Volunteerism is my heart, and it's my greatest pleasure to do this with my job with AARP of Virginia. I would like to give a special thanks to Mayor Dwight Jones and to Paul Manning for the partnership that they bestowed upon us with the ARP Create the Good Community Food Drive. We don't do this food drive merely just come together to collect pounds. We do this food drive because we see families and seniors who are in need, who have to decide daily whether I should buy food or pay my rent. Do I get my medicine? Do I pay my rent? And then where does food fit into there? We see children and families who, over the summertime, are looking for places to eat where parents are going without so their children can ensure that they have something good to eat. So this week, all week long, September 8th through to September 15th, we are all over the state of Virginia collecting food. And with these efforts, we are partnered with the City of Richmond, AmeriCorps, triads, churches, individuals, families, are all this week going out and collecting food. I will have to say, Mayor Jones, last year we collected close to 150,000 pounds of food. Our goal was only 100,000 pounds. The city alone collected over 500 of those pounds just by themselves. In the state of Virginia, we collected food on our own. However, throughout the entire United States with ARP, we collected statewide. Collectively, we collected 300,000 pounds of food. So you know, Virginia, you really care because you collected 1/3 of the 300,000 pounds of food for the entire week of the community food drive. Let's give ourselves a hand. I just want to say thank you to those who care. Volunteerism is nothing more than caring and doing something about it, doing something about something that you care about. And so on today, I would like to say thank you. I'm in my volunteer garbs, and I hope you do the same thing. There's volunteer opportunities all throughout the city, all throughout the state. We'll be together here at Kroger today, all day, with my Virginia State office and the Greater Richmond Urban League collecting food. We already have a whole bunch of pounds of food from the city, so we'd like to thank Mayor Jones already. And just thank you all for being here. Thank you all for your service. And continue to volunteer because together we can make a difference.
Stephanie, I just looked at my watch. In about 2 hours, I'll be in my volunteer garb in about 92-degree heat, so it'll be a lot of fun. Y'all have probably noticed a number of first responder vehicles around. The Quint fire trucks here, as well as that 40-foot-long mobile command center. Also, in the grass here is the Richmond Ambulance Authority. They will be giving, as Mayor Jones said, free hands-only CPR training to anyone who would like that, and I believe maybe some kits as well. Vitally important that we are prepared in case of an emergency. We often think that it'll never happen, but it can happen today. So preparedness is the key. And speaking of preparedness, this is also National Preparedness Month. And with that, we have Anthony McLean. He is the coordinator of emergency management services for Richmond Fire and Emergency Services, to come give a brief word about this month and the mobile command post.
Good morning, all. It is truly a pleasure to be here and an honor to be here today. And as Paul mentioned, September is National Preparedness Month. And it is the opportunity for us to start preparing for their next event. So what we want to do is encourage you, your family, your neighbors, to start making preparations for their next event. Whether it's a hurricane, whether it's a tornado, whether it's a winter storm, whether it's a thunderstorm, we want to encourage you to start making preparations. That is, make your emergency kit. That kit should consist of non-perishable items, should consist of flashlights, should consist of a first aid kit, should consist of water. With that said, that kit should maintain your family for a minimum of 3 days. We want to encourage you to develop an emergency plan. Your family needs to know where they can go to if they can't get back into the neighborhood. They also need to understand where they should report to if they're within the neighborhood. We also want to encourage you to stay informed. Listen to your local media so that you know exactly what's going on in the neighborhood. We also want to encourage you to get involved. We want you to get involved with your Neighbor to Neighbor program. We want you to get involved with the Neighborhood Watch program. We want you to get involved with the Community Emergency Response Team program. And as Paul mentioned, we have a mobile command unit here. We encourage you to take a tour before you leave today so that you can see the resources that the city has to support our first responders if we have to respond to an emergency. So with that said, we have a table here as well with emergency information. Please come by and get the information. We want you to share this information with your family. We want you to share this information with your neighbors. We want you to share this information with your community. Thank you.
And again, if you all don't have an agenda, we do have plenty of them on the table over there, but from 9:30 until 9:45, Anthony will be here with a smaller group if you'd like to get more information on preparedness strategies, resources, and as he mentioned, not only can you tour the mobile command unit, but we also have the Richmond Fire Safety House here. You can get a tour of that as well to learn about fire safety, ranging from issues pertaining to kitchen safety, poisons, 911 calls, smoke detectors, carbon monoxide, and evacuation planning. So we are excited that the City of Richmond is ready to train, prepare, teach you on this service learning day as well. So, as we close today's program, I was contacted a few days ago by two young men who are graduates of Virginia State University who have a national recording song around the issue of nationalism and patriotism. And so with that, we're gonna have Mr. Donnell and Dominique Hargrove come.
the freedom of our nation. Soldier, 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 my heart goes out to you. My prayers go out to you. One nation, God bless the soldiers. God bless you.
Tonight I watched a bit of America's Got Talent. Truly, that is the epitome of America has talent even in Richmond. So thank you, young men, thank you. And with that, on behalf of Mayor Jones and the City of Richmond, we thank you all for joining us once again for our annual 9/11 Day of Remembrance and Service. With that, we are adjourned.